Over the past 3 years, G-Wolves has produced all kinds of mice, some with very questionable build quality, some with good performance, some with decent performance, some with great performance, and now it seems that they have also been improving the quality. For example, the hati-s plus 4K and the HTX that I have here, which I'm gonna review in this video of course, have been very pristine in terms of quality, and if we forget the HSK Pro, which of course had those issues with the exploding batteries, I would say that in my experience the structural integrity of the G-Wolves mice has been really improved. Previously their mice have had a lot of side flex, creaky clicks, usually the clicks just go bad after a month of use or so. But in my experience with these two mice, that has not been the case at all. I've used the hati-s plus 4K for quite extensively, and the clicks still feel very good, just as pristine as new. There is some slight wear of course, where the clicks feel a little bit softer, but this happens on all mice. Side buttons, scroll wheels, pretty much everything still feels pristine, just like it's brand new pretty much. Of course, this is just my experience with these two units. I also have another hati-s plus 4K that is same again, pristine, no issues with anything pretty much, even after extended use. Even so, I really can't talk about quality control or even build quality for that much, because I'm pretty sure that these have been handpicked review units. But from my experience and what I've seen in their Discord and mouse review, it seems that they have improved, but there are still some issues of course. So I've been very impressed by the quality and feel of the HTX 4K. There is absolutely no side flex no matter how hard I squeeze the mouse. There is some slight button wobble when I really force it, but nothing I would feel in real use or in game. The click feel overall is a little bit lighter than it was with the hati-s plus 4K, so these are light and easy to actuate. And looking at the pre and post travel, there is very limited amount of pre-travel, but the post travel is very noticeable if you click the buttons from the front, but this does not cause any downsides, just makes the clicks feel softer. I think the click implementation is very good, by far the best click implementation ever on a G-Wolves mouse at least. Believe it or not, even the mouse wheel feels nice and premium. And the side buttons are snappy and tactile, and there is very little to no pre and post travel, so very impressive build by the G-Wolves guys. However, it's never really just sunshine and rainbows when it comes to G-Wolves, so one thing that you guys might end up having to deal with is their support. And there are of course people with very good and very bad experiences. But the good thing these days is that you can actually buy these mice from Amazon, so you will get that great return policy if you so please to use it. Otherwise, if you absolutely want to get one directly from them, you can do so and use my code for some savings. I think it's 10 bucks. I of course also make some money from that, but I would still heavily recommend for you guys to use Amazon for that better support experience. But let's move over to performance, and if you've seen my hati-s plus 4K review, you most likely are not surprised that the HTX 4K also performs very well. The click latency is ever so slightly worse than it was with the hati-s plus 4K, but now it's actually more consistent. So with the hati-s plus 4K, there was at least 0.1 millisecond difference among different test sets, but there is no such issues with the HTX 4K. The motion latency is the same as it is with the previous 4K mice, so all in all the performance of these mice is very impressive, and it's pretty much at this moment in time only losing to Razer 4K. I had no issues running HTX with 4K on my system, so the polling rate is fairly stable and there was no interference or lost packet issues. There also seems to be no motion latency penalty at all using motion sync with these G-Wolves mice, so I definitely recommend for you to use it as there is no reason not to. Now, one negative aspect of course with 4000Hz ends up being the battery life, and with the G-Wolves 4K it's about 20 hours, so you basically have to charge the mouse every other day pretty much if you use it about 8 hours per day. And that's of course fully saturating the 4000Hz all the time, but most of the time you won't be moving the mouse as fast to really saturate that polling rate. So the battery life is not good by no means whatsoever, but it doesn't mean that it's exactly 20 hours of use either. Moving on to discuss the shape of the HTX 4K, and the biggest difference against the hati-s Plus 4K is the fact that this mouse is very low profile. Basically has no hump whatsoever on the middle of the mouse, so your palm is not going to be touching it that much, especially if you aggressive claw. And overall, it's quite a bit lower profile than the hati-s Plus 4K. Right off the bat, I will say that the hati-s Plus 4K will, in my opinion, be the better mouse for you if you relaxed claw, so you extend your fingers towards the front corner. The HTX feels good for aggressive claw. You can still relax claw the mouse, as there is still good amount of room on the front right corner. It is very low profile, but because the sides are flat, there is more than enough space for you to hold your fingers right here. And the corner is rounded, but it's not too rounded for you to not have any contact points right here. The HTX 4K actually just ends up feeling quite a lot like the Model O- for me. So very low profile, not much contact with my palm. The HTX does feel better for me as it ends up feeling a little bit wider. And also has at least more of a hump here on the back of the mouse, so you get some more palm control with it. Whereas the Model O- just feels quite a bit flat for me, and I didn't end up liking this shape quite much. One thing I've seen people comment and ask me about is the HTX similar to the Viper Mini, and in my opinion it definitely is not. The Viper Mini has a much more pronounced hump here on the middle of the mouse, which does end up touching your palm, unlike the HTX, which basically has nothing there whatsoever. The Viper Mini is also higher profile, so you end up having more space here on the front right corner than you do with the HTX 4K. The Viper Mini is also thinner all over the mouse, but especially where you can notice it is on the back of the mouse. So for a small mouse like this, the HTX does have quite a wide back. It ends up covering quite a large area of your bottom palm right here. Overall, I just do not see it very similar to many other mice. It's just a very low profile, kind of a Jeeble's take on an FK2, but still not that similar to the FK2. Very much similar to the Model O- with some differences, making it at least a better shape for me, but it is very different to the other competition on the small mouse market at the moment. Lamsu Atlantis Mini, the Viper Mini, the X2 Mini, the hati-s Plus 4K, the Starlight 12, these are all very different mice compared to the Model O- and the HTX 4K. For fingertip grip, the HTX feels very comfortable, but I would say that for any kind of claw, from these two Jeeble's mice, my choice would be the hati-s Plus. Considering the pricing, these Jeeble's mice are definitely very expensive, so it's pretty hard for me to recommend for you to buy these, but of course, if you want a small mouse that has 4000 Hz, there are pretty much no other options. A few more things to note about this mouse, and one is at least the fact that even though Jeeble's has fixed many things, they are still using these garbage mouse feet, so these dot feet on the HTX are pretty much absolute garbage. They do give you some extra feet as they should at this price, but even those are not the greatest, so maybe you should just get some core pads or something. One positive change about the HTS Plus is that you don't need a stick to turn on the mouse anymore, so there's enough room here to just stick your finger here and turn the mouse on and off. This is an awesome upgrade, but there is some weirdness of course, as always with Jeeble's mice. So now the HTS is charged with a USB-C cable, but sadly the dongle is still micro USB. To my understanding, there should be an adapter in the box, but for example, I just had a USB-C cable, so basically I just need to use two cables, one for using the dongle and one for charging the mouse. Doesn't make much sense, but I'm kind of used to that with Jeeble's. One thing that does make sense and is no joke is the weight of the HTX, which is 41 grams on my scale with the grip tape included. And 41 grams is really nice for that fingertip grip. One more thing to mention is that the coating or the surface finish of the mouse is extremely slippery for my skin type. So for this shape, and this surface finish, I'm pretty much forced to use the grip tape that G-Wolves provides, and it is good enough, so I don't need to buy any aftermarket ones. These are basically the best grips that come with a mouse. That's pretty much it for this video. Nothing much else to say. The HTX is a very positive surprise to me. I don't like the shape that much myself for claw, so I choose the HTS Plus, but the quality and shots are very good, so I'm happy about that. Thank you guys so much for watching, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.